Welcome to another edition of the Daily Night. This is your host, Brian Smith, and I am joined by my two colleagues, Andrew Johnson and Mr. Stephen Leonard. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Everybody ready to talk some football recruiting?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right. Let's do it. We were all three at the DRSportz shirt here. 7-on-7 tournament this past weekend, just southwest of Orlando. It's a great opportunity to see kids all in one spot. And one of the reasons I invited you guys out, it's fun, but it puts things into perspective of why a scout wants to go to 7-on-7. Everybody's in one place.
Yeah.
If I go to a high school game, I'll see 3 to 5 kids I might want to interview or watch. There were 50 at this tournament, conservatively. So, opening thoughts, Andrew, from you. Then I'll go next with Stephen. What did you just think about the tournament overall?
Just opening thoughts really quick. I just want to give a shout out to DRSportz for, putting together such an organized event with top talent from different regions. And I also want to give a shout out to our team, you guys for covering the kids, getting some good articles and videos together for them so college coaches can see them.
Oh, yeah.
But man, my first thought is UCF has some recruiting to do because there was some really talented kids out there that said UCF only got a text message to them. So, man, I had a great weekend, and so that was my opening thoughts, buddy.
How about you, Stephen?
Yeah, it was a great weekend. Again, shout out DRSportz. Very well organized tournament. I've played in some, and that it beat all of those out of the water. Great weekend, great kids that were great kids raised, not even just great football players. Great young men.
The first thing that I noticed about the tournament was that having a lot of Florida kids, obviously they're DBs and receivers. That's the two spots this state just runs amok with unbelievable amounts of talent. But at the same time, this tournament had something that Florida doesn't normally have, and there are a lot of younger quarterbacks. The Kromenhoek kid, which we'll talk about from Savannah, Georgia, Team Dimes. Colin Hurley, who he's not going to be on the screen that I'm going to share here in a minute, but he's the best player, class 25. I've covered him numerous times. We don't have to talk about him. He will be a top NFL draft pick, yada, yada, yada. That kid is special. He was there. And there were other young quarterbacks. The kid from Team Go Get It was a freshman, going to be a sophomore. We're starting to finally see some quarterback play in the state of Florida. The kid from Team Birch was a really good young quarterback. He's Colin Hurley's best buddy, ironically. They're both from the Jacksonville area. It's great for Florida and some of these southern areas that normally just produce skill and linemen to have QB. So that was great. And then saw a team from Virginia. They got a couple of kids that are really, really good. Also had some kids come in from Georgia. The Atlanta Ducks were here. BullyMax. There was a kid, Buchannon, that was here that I didn't know about. There were a couple of kids, even right in my backyard. The kid that I thought played better than anybody was in St. Pete, and I live in Tampa, and he plays at Gibbs, a school that nobody recruits. And that's why I tell people all the time, 7-on-7 matters because it's exposure. I'm never going to go scout Gibbs just to go to Gibbs. I'm not. Most of the kids go to Lakewood, or they go to Clearwater Christian Academy or Calvary, whatever. They go to something that's not Gibbs. But because he played 7-on-7, now he's going to get exposure. He was making touchdowns against Power 5 corners and safeties. So that's my opening thought. What I'm going to do now is share the screen. This is exactly what you guys wrote about. And, this is on Inside the Nights. You can read the article. I got it pulled up for Andrew's evaluations. I'm just going to go through some of the kids here. We'll just kind of open discussion and go through these real quick on the very first one. This puts it in perspective for everybody out there on the type of talent. Eddie Combs, I know him well. I'm actually going to interview him tonight. He was put with a sensor on his body by XOS Digital this past weekend to see how fast he ran. Out of all the kids that they did, he was the fastest, like 21.1 miles per hour. Look, I was pretty fast as a kid, but I wasn't sniffing that. Okay, that's a whole different deal. And that's why Penn State wants him. That's why he just visited Happy Valley. Yeah. And he's just one of several really good players that were at this tournament. So I'll open it up, Andrew, since this is your section. What do you think about Eddie?
Yeah, I think you just hit it on the head, man. Speed, man. That guy's a speedy guy. He's a road runner. He can. He's a good route runner as well, but he can blow the defense over the top. He impressed me. So that was, I think that pretty much says it. He has some length, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Steven, what do you think, buddy? Steven, can you hear me?
Yep.
Steven's muted.
You're muted, buddy.
You're muted. Muted. Hold on. I'll get it anyway. I'll send him a text.
Just really quick, man. Like you guys see, Satellite High School, the kid had 16 total touchdowns in his junior season, had over 1,000 receiving yards. So yeah, he's a playmaker out there, and that's what caught my eye early on. As soon as the game started, I was like, yeah, and he's a vocal guy, so he kind of gets your attention. So it was good. He had a good show out.
I was surprised that he ran by kids. I mean, I've seen Eddie play several times, and I've seen his film. I'm surprised that he ran by guys as quickly as he did. But at the same time, I really don't know what to tell you if you don't eventually double guys like this.
Yeah.
They have a lot of guys.
Right.
They have a lot of guys. But at the same time, I don't. He was run by guys consistently, and they were playing man coverage and bump and stuff. And I'm like,
he has power 5 speed.
Oh yeah.
That 21 miles per hour it's not lying to you.
Yeah. I don't really know what to put into perspective for that, but we see it a lot of tournaments. So made him look even better than he should.
Right.
Steven, you're back.
Sorry about the technical difficulties there. My computer glitched out.
Yeah, it's all good. What are your thoughts on Eddie Combs, the receiver from 24K?
Oh, obviously power 5 talent. He just runs by people.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. That speaks to itself. I mean, he's got technical aspects to work on, getting bigger, stronger, but the physical tools are there, and it's pretty impressive.
This kid's similar.
Yeah, Emmanuel, this is a unique deal. He lives close to me in Zephyr Hills, about 40 minutes from me, and he plays at a small school, not the biggest kid, but he is the definition of the twitchy Florida player. He makes kids look really weird. Like he's a human joystick type. He's got to gain weight. He's got to gain weight. I mean, he's
a human juke.
He is, but he's the kind of kid in a straight up spread offense. Think Mississippi State or SMU, something like that.
Yeah.
Or if you have to play him in man coverage for any amount of time, good luck. And then once he gets the ball, if he's got any separation between him and himself and the defensive player, not good.
He's a juke stick. So, he's a little smaller, but that was like his only downside.
I'd seen him before, but he's improved a lot. Yeah. Steven, what do you think about him?
If he ends up in a slot situation against like a linebacker, like I know UCF plays like a hybrid linebacker there. If he ends up in that situation,
it's hard.
It's a guaranteed 10, 20 yards at least.
He reminds me of like a Amir Johnson type speedy guy, elusive guy.
Yes, he does. The only question with him is, can he be a part of the run? Can he block anybody? Because he needs the ball. I don't think he's a very versatile guy in that regard. That's why he needs strength. But, he plays at Zephyr Hills Christian Academy. It's a program, again, I know well. Teams are going to recruit him. It's just a matter of where he ends up in terms of going to camps and stuff.
He's a good special teams guy as well.
Oh,
and he got an offer from FAU after that, after Saturday. So,
well, I mean, he's going to get more. Yeah. This next kid is one that UCF fans are probably familiar with, and we got the picture of the glove up here. Troy Ford is a kid I know well, and he's a stud human being. I was texting with his dad a little bit, and Mariah, Steven's girlfriend, actually got this photo. That's a great photo. He's just the kind of kid you want on your team. When I was talking to him after they'd lost, and I was down by the concession stand with him, he was promoting his other teammates, unsolicited.
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of guys that you want on your squad. So I don't know why he did it, because most kids just me.
Right. And Troy reminds me of one of those like soft-spoken guys, off the field, but when he puts the helmet on, he turns it up and he's a different guy. He's definitely a leader and he's very vocal on the field.
Well, I just like him as a human being. And again, I wrote an article just a little bit ago about Kam Davis, another kid who was at the tournament. Troy's like him, that because once he reaches whatever college he attends, you can put him in front of a microphone. You can introduce him to a prominent alumni. whatever it is, and he will represent your institution at a high level.
Yeah.
That's what they want now. You can do whatever you want on the field and make plays, but with the cell phones and the cameras and all the media attention, you have to do that too. So,
yeah.
Steven, what'd you think?
I mean, obviously he's one of the most talented linebackers in this class, but just his leadership in like organizing the defense, because that was I noticed that a lot from him. Getting people where they needed to be, telling them where they needed to be, hyping up his teammates when they made a good play. I see him as like a multi-year captain at the next level.
Very potentially speaking, like, how would you not want to consider him for captain with those kinds of attributes? I agree 100% with Steven. Now, as a junior, he'll be up for it. Absolutely, wherever he goes. Troy told me UCF, South Carolina, Auburn are his top three. I mean, it's a long way to go in his recruitment, but T. Will, and this is something that we're going to talk about at the end of the podcast a little bit. He is the DC for UCF, and I talked to Troy about this. What is it about UCF you liked? And he brought up T. Will. So, again, I know we've talked about T. Will a million times, but that's the difference. Kids pick the individual coach, not the monogram on the polo. I know alumni don't want to hear that. Too bad. That's the way it is. They pick the coach. And coaches
kids are big on relationship. It's simple.
Yeah. Travis mentioned that recently at the signing day. Relationships are everything. That's why he's getting some of the Auburn transfers. Troy's one of those examples directly out of high school. He's got a great shot with a kid that let's be honest, Savannah's a long way from Orlando, even though it's one state away. Those kids don't hear about UCF a lot. He takes one visit and UCF's right there.
And he's wearing the gloves, showing the gloves off.
Yeah, I mean, he could have wore any glove he wanted.
Yep,
he wore UCF.
Yes,
good
sir.
sign. So that's very important to note. Next kid, Josiah Taylor. This is a kid that I didn't know anything about.
Nah.
Now he's a lot like Ford, built, and he's a year younger. So I'll let Andrew. This was one of Andrew's favorite players, so I'll let him take it over here and kind of describe.
Yeah, Taylor impressed me with his speed, man. He like it says there, he has a knack for the ball. As soon as he sees the ball, he attacks it. He had good ball skills as well. You got to put up an interception. He had pick six, snagged it out of the air. I'm a very talented receiver.
Yeah.
So his leadership, and I believe he can be a captain as well, because he was directing his guys as well. So I like the Taylor as a younger guy that can play Power 5 football.
Yeah, being from Sebring, it's good for him to get some exposure. Steven, what do you think?
The one interaction I had with him was him almost running me over.
It is what it is.
Yeah, no, that interception was kind of crazy. I didn't think he was going to get it. He went after it. Definitely showed some athleticism there that I didn't know that he had based on his build.
Yeah, you look at him. He's a really thick kid at the hip, upper legs. He looks like a fullback from the 1980s. That's kind of a way to define him. And he has 2 years of high school left.
Yeah, 6 foot, 205, 2 years left.
I mean, he's a kid that kind of is 205, 220 coming out of high school, goes plays fullback for like Ohio State or something 30 years ago. That's the kind of kid it would be. Now you play him on defense and let him run around. That interception being a really good example of why. And Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong, he's been at UCF's campus already.
Yeah, he was there for the Hometown Hero event. And that was the only school he's visited. And he was big. He was talking about T. Will, and he was all about relationships. So he loved his visit. And that was the only school he's looking at right now.
That's good for UCF.
Yeah.
All right. This one is a kid that I don't know quite as well. Yeah. I'm going to let you guys kind of go over it. Traequan Johnson.
Yeah, Traequan Johnson was one of those kids that was very vocal, and it wasn't scared, wasn't backing down from the guys that was, maybe more talented than him. So he was going up against Jalen Hayward, one of the top safeties in the country right now, and he didn't back down. So I was following him around a little bit. He plays running back in high school right now, but he played secondary as well. He had good ball skills. So I thought I was showing some love.
There you go. Steven.
Yeah, I think he's more of a nickel at the next level based on what I was seeing from him. Like the hybrid linebacker, corner type player.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That one-on-one with Jalen Hayward after the game, where they were jawing at it the entire game, and then finally did a one-on-one after the game had ended.
Sure.
And then they hugged it out after. Just, you love to see that out of kids, the competitive spirit.
Nothing wrong with that, my man. All right. This is one, starting off with Steven's list, that all of us really liked. And quite frankly, he was just ridiculous. I was talking to a coach from Team Tampa. He wasn't coaching that team. They had two teams there. And we're just talking, and they throw a corner ball to him, and the corner did everything right, back corner, and the cornerback undercut it. The ball was thrown right on the edge. He catches it going out of bounds. And I know the Team Tampa guys well. He walked over and shook the kid's hand.
Mm.
I mean, like, he caught several like that and made people look bad. And he also would catch like a 5-yard hitch, make the first guy. He is a human first down. That's the best way to put it. And we were talking about this before we started the podcast. He was at St. Thomas Aquinas this last year, and he's transferring. I think it's Somerset Academy down there in Pembroke Pines or whatever it is. You talk about a kid that can absolutely run, juke, make people – and you can tell he's got a chip on his shoulder. He hadn't been able to play at STA. Again, this is why 7-on-7 is important. I wouldn't even know who the kid is. No. I wouldn't have had a clue. But
this kid certainly made a name for himself this weekend.
Yeah.
Man, the footwork,
that's the point.
The hand skills, man. Here's
the other part about him. Because of his athleticism, we can't discount the opportunity. Maybe he plays free safety or corner or nickel or something. I haven't seen him go through a bunch of reps doing that.
He had that interception.
Yeah. I mean, he's that dumb catch where with one hander.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, he has ball skills that God blessed him with. That you're just you learn things, but you don't just make one-handed catches with a guy right next to you randomly. You were blessed with some skill, and that was the additional play for him. So loved his ability.
One word I got for him is unguardable. He was not guardable that weekend.
No, he really wasn't. He was one of the top 3 or 4 players in terms of just raw performance all around that I saw.
I thought he would compete for me, my MVP guy. Like that guy, he had a really good standout.
I mean, it didn't matter if you doubled or tripled him.
Nah.
He found a way. Yeah, I don't think I saw him lose a 50-50 circumstance, and I'm sure he did at some point. I'm not saying he's perfection or whatever, but I'm like, who the hell is this kid?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just it's a great story. By the way, I'll play the video on here just so people can see it. Yeah, he's a different guy, and when you make catches like the one that's about to happen right here, there it is.
Yeah.
So
these are what these 7-on-7s are about, man. So guys can do show out like this.
I mean, it's ridiculous. If you make a play like that, you're going to catch attention.
I had an FCS coach already contact me about him.
Wow. Oh, right. FCS?
I don't think he's going FCS after.
Well, I mean, if they want to contact him and gain a relationship, so if in case he transfers from a Power 5, fantastic. Yeah. Otherwise, they're not getting him.
Well, not after this weekend.
Yeah.
This next kid, quick preliminary. I've covered him before, know him well. He is a freak of nature. He's dropped weight. He's trying to starve himself because he doesn't really want to play linebacker, but he knows it's inevitable. Nick Saban told him as much. Alabama offer speaks to a defensive player's talent level. If you don't understand that, you're in the wrong podcast. But what did you guys think of Jordan Castell overall in terms of physical traits?
Go ahead, Steven.
One, they didn't throw to his side of the field for an entire game.
No, he didn't get to.
Which is a pretty good. If you're a defensive back, that's a pretty good sign that you're a really good player. Just long, like his arms are like tree limbs almost.
Yeah. He has Power 5 tangible, 6'2", 195. He's ready to go, and
he flies over the field. Like his recovery time is kind of just insane. Like I think I put Kyle Hamilton, as a comp because that's the only thing I can even.
He's one of those guys that you need that can shut down one side of the field, which is very important in the secondary.
I think he's going to end up playing the overhang position, what UCF calls the knight, and like Nick Saban calls it the star, blah, blah, blah. But Nick usually plays basically an extra strong safety there. Oh. Jordan is, again, he's basically starving himself, and he's run track and done all kinds of things. He's going to be 225 at some point. and he's going to play Will, and he's going to play on the edge. He can blitz. He's played corner most of his life, though. He kind of gained weight later. So out of all the kids in Florida, you could make an argument that he's as good as it gets in terms of upside in the class of 23, because he's being coached by a really good staff where he's at West Orange, and his DB coach at West Orange is also at 24K. So he's with him all the time, and his body is just now starting to blossom. He's the kid that coaches up north and back east and out west come to Florida for, but it's a little late because he boomed a little sooner on the recruiting trail than they would have liked, but like I saw him a year ago and I'm like, yeah, he might make Power 5. Right. And then I saw him early this spring and I'm like, that's Jordan? He gained 20 pounds in like 6 months and it was all muscle. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, okay. I think he was repping the Florida gloves.
Yeah, he had Florida gloves on this week. He's got offer. He had Alabama gloves one week. Nobody has a clue where he's going, Jordan himself included. I talked to him quite a bit. He has no idea where he's going.
I think October 1st is when he's announcing.
That will mean nothing, by the way, because he will sign on signing day with Lord only knows where. The next kid, this was one of the players that we all really liked. Yeah. I mean, for me, the first day I thought he was the best player performance-wise that I saw, and it's a great story because, again, as I mentioned earlier, Gibbs High School, St. Pete, look, they get zero cut.
No, not much.
It's as inner city as it gets. Well, it's not the greatest school, blah, blah, blah. This kid comes out here. I asked him, said, why do you go to Gibbs? He goes, I want to be different. Well, you sure as heck are. Yeah. And he scored touchdowns against really good teams and really good corners one-on-one. He outworked them. He had a one-handed catch in the back of the end zone. Yeah, the DB did everything right.
He stacked them.
And you know what?
Went right over him.
Yeah. He's a Power 5 player, and I don't really have any idea which side of the ball he'll play on. Just he'll figure it out. He's got glue for gloves. Yeah. These are gloves. These aren't hands he had. These are gloves. He just snags things.
Yeah.
Andrew, what are your thoughts on Mr. Devon?
Yeah, pretty much everything you said, man. Great hands, great ball skills. And when he caught that one hand over that defender, I think that pretty much did it for him this weekend. Power 5 talent, like you said, can play both sides of the ball. So we like Devon Walton this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, anyone that can shut down an entire field, because I was watching the 24K game on the other side of the field. That game stopped and looked over at him after he had that amazing one-hand catch over the defender.
Yeah.
Anyone with that talent to stop a whole entire another game is probably someone you want to keep an eye on.
Yeah. The play that he made that on it was against Prime Truth, another Tampa area team, which probably meant something to him because most of those kids have Power 5. And the specific player he made it on was DJ Pickett, who is literally the best 8th grade player I've ever watched live. He's a 6'3" corner who has an offer from any school he wants when he was in 8th, 9th grade. So, I mean, he's going to play NFL, period. And he scored 2 touchdowns on it. And it wasn't because DJ was lacking or playing crappy coverage or any of that. He just beat him.
Yeah.
That's okay. Because I know DJ, I'm like, holy crap. Look at this. Because he just doesn't. Nobody even throws at DJ most of the time, let alone beats him.
No, that was the good thing about this tournament. They put a lot of competition against each other so we could see who stood out.
The thing that's interesting about him with that as well, this is a kid that doesn't even care which part of the country he plays in, doesn't care which side of the ball. I asked him, I'm like, what do you want to do? Or what? He goes, I don't care.
Yeah.
He's just like, I just want to play.
That's what you
people that recruit this kid will be rewarded because if you need a free safety, he'll figure it out. If you need a wide receiver, Devon will figure it out. So
he's coachable.
Because he knows he's good, but he didn't care. He just next play.
That's what you need. Some kids, that
next
ego.
Play.
Yeah, that ego can be a detriment to some of these Florida kids.
Yeah. I'm going to let Steven kind of talk about this next kid because I don't know anything about him. Cooper Richards. What do you got, man?
Okay, so CFL Stealth, they were probably one of the worst teams at the tournament, talent-wise. And I feel like that's fair to say. They're from the Orlando area. But but Cooper Richards, he's a smaller guy, pretty good route running, and it is some speed to him. Went over, ran directly past, I forget exactly which team they were playing at the time, and caught a ball in the back of the end zone, went over and did a back handspring into a backflip. Showed off like amazing athleticism there. So I figured I would give him in the article because that was just an amazing thing that I saw.
Yeah, I seen that backflip play.
There you go. I love it when the smaller guys like him make plays because sometimes they're kind of like disregarded. When they walk out on the field, you're like, oh, he's the extra guy. Right. Then they go score, and you're like, oh, okay.
Those are usually the guys that got a chip on their shoulder, though, because they know people are talking crap about them anyway.
So. Oh, absolutely. This next kid, we were all like,
oh, man.
Oh, wow.
This kid.
This is a great story. He plays at Benedictine.
Yeah.
It's a military school in Savannah. Yeah. The quarterback he played behind last year signed with Auburn, so he was not going to be the starter. But even though he knew that, he stayed with the school, and going into last year, before he'd ever played it, and he still hasn't, played it down as a starter at quarterback, he went to Florida State's camp and got an offer. Mm. You have serious talent when you can get an offer at quarterback from a Power 5, I don't care which one it is, from a Power 5 school, and you haven't started a game. I literally watched him throw 3 passes in warm-ups, and I said, this kid's a Power 5 talent. Like his arm strength is not normal. He's the guy, for a baseball analogy, you bring in the 8th inning that's like the setup man that throws 88 mile an hour on a curveball. You know what I mean? Or something, or slider or whatever. I mean, not curve, a slider, and then throws 99 with the gas. It's like, holy crap. The only thing I saw from him is that when he'd get a little frustrated, he's a younger kid. He's got 2 years of high school left. He needs to put a little more touch on it because
that was his only downside. He would overthrow a guy a couple of times. That was about it. That was his only negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got cannon, though. Holy
man, he has natural size at 6'4". You know, he has the good pocket awareness. He stayed calm in the pocket as well. And thing about me for Luke was he was a commander of the offense. There was
I watched some of his huddle highlights too. Yeah. He played receiver some this season.
Last year he played.
Yeah, receiver. He did too. And I was like, because I was asking Troy Ford, I was like, can this kid move at all? You know, it's
and he's a basketball guy.
Yeah, I'm like,
quarterback. If you watch his quarterback highlights, he's actually can scramble as well. He truck a couple guys. He's not just sitting in the pocket, so he can get outside that pocket as well with his strong arm. Made a good, good accuracy. It was a good commander and good leader for me. I like Luke.
I don't see any reason not to like him.
Yeah,
he makes plays, and the other thing is, again, 2 years of high school left to get better. When he'll go through 7-on-7 this spring. He'll take some visits, blah blah blah. You know, depending on the whole COVID and Omicron and all that. But if he just goes to, let's say, the Georgia camp and the South Carolina camp, those are convenient to where he's located. Even if he doesn't get those offers, and I'd be surprised if he didn't, that world they live in, the college coach, they all know each other. Yeah. We're not taking this kid, but you should offer him. That's how that works. He's going to get plenty of offers. Man. And because, like you guys said, he played receiver last year just to get him on the field. If he can run around and run a little read option, some RPO game with that cannon, he's going to make somebody a very good quarterback at the next.
He's not stationary in the pocket. He can get outside the pocket.
UCF is his last offer, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it won't be the last one he gets, though. I can assure you that. Yeah. The next kid I don't know as much about. I focused too much on Troy, probably, to be honest with you, because I knew UCF had offered him, and I obviously run inside the Knights. But you guys go ahead. What do you guys think about Bo?
Okay,
I'll let Steve handle this.
Bo's teammates with Luke at both high school and
that helps.
7-on-7.
Yeah.
He has played like a little bit in high school. I think he develops more as a tight end when it comes to collegiate level. But he's been playing wide receiver and tight end at high school.
So you're talking 40 pounds that he needs to put on. That's a lot, man.
Yeah. He has really good route running, and he's he's pretty physical. I mean, even if they want to put him out as like a boundary receiver,
that would be my
type player.
That new tight end type position.
If you can play that at 225 and be good in the screen game, blocking and just catching 3rd and 3 passes, there's a spot for you someplace. And that high school in particular in the Savannah area dominates. They just won state.
And
he's going to have guys have connections. So good for Bo.
He's athletic enough to go to the ground and catch the ball as well.
There you go. There you go. Then this guy, I'm just going to play this video real quick just as an introductory. He does not suck, as the saying goes. Get you some. Get you some right there. I'll play that again. That's just fun.
Yeah.
That's just fun.
This guy was fun to watch.
Oh, ridiculously so.
Waffle House is open 24/7.
There you go. Get you a one-handed grab. I mean, look at the coverage. The guy's right there on him.
Man.
What do you want him to do? You know, he just had more athleticism, snags it.
Yeah.
He's like doing that crap all day.
Yeah.
And
like
did it on Sunday.
Yeah, like Steven said, Waffle House was open all 24/7. He was making plays all over the field.
This is a kid that plays at Carver in Atlanta, and I've been bitching about this for 2 years. Nobody wants to recruit inner city Atlanta. Straight up. Guys that look like me don't want to go down there and recruit. Well, you're a bunch of pansies. It's just true. And this, if you can't recruit that, he's a pretty easygoing kid too. He's obviously excitable. He just scored a touchdown. But if you can't recruit that, then you can lose football games because he's going to be playing on the opposite side of the field from you. So
he definitely has Power 5 talent now.
He could be your nickel. He could be your slot. He could be your extended, like the speed guy. Like Jalen for UCF plays outside. He's a little shorter, but he's so fast, it doesn't matter. Yeah. I don't know if this kid's Jalen, but he can really run, and his hands are ridiculous. He's like the kid that plays for Team Go Get It. They're very similar players. Yeah. If you have speed and ridiculous hands in today's game, there's a place for you.
There's a spot for you.
He's a Power 5 kid.
Yeah.
Period.
I told
Steve he has one Power 5 offer so far to Indiana.
Oh, just one. Indiana?
Yeah. Well, that's going to be 15 within 3
months. I was telling Steven, he kind of reminded me like a Johnny Richardson, man. He was electric when you stood.
Oh, yeah. There was a video, Mark, my buddy from DRSportz, he's just kind of randomly, and he ran an in and out. Like he was cutting across the field, and he just put his foot on the ground and went 180 the other direction. It was only a 5-yard pass. But Mark had him and it just like the other kid had no chance.
Yeah, he breaks
straight up man.
He breaks ankles at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he was beating guys so badly at the line of scrimmage. They were playing off because once they saw like that play we just watched, okay, I'm going to play off. But then it's 2nd and 5 every time they want to just throw him a short ball.
Right.
That's why those guys are. I'm not saying he's Devontae Smith. Let's not go too far, but that's the kind of deal it is. When one-on-one, when you can spread the field with speed, and they have these. Man, there's no defense you can call that's really good.
He's not a Devontae Smith, but that guy can be productive at a Power 5 school.
Absolutely.
And he wants to play in Florida, which there's 4 Power 5s in there. Me and Andrew were talking to him after.
Oh, okay. Well,
like
UCF
needs to get on the
crap out of Atlanta.
Yeah, UCF has 2 coaches following him.
Awesome. Okay.
Well, yeah. Look, that video, I'm sure he's going to send it to UCF. Why would he not? That'll take care of itself. Yeah. If he wants to go to UCF or Florida State or whatever, he needs to go to their camp, meet them, go through it just like any other kid. But the film speaks for itself. It's just about the social fit now. It's not a question of talent. That is fact. Plus, he plays at Carver, and they play against dudes. It's Atlanta. In my opinion, it's the best overall city in the country for high school football, quarterback to safety. So, next kid, this is a kid I know well because I know the guy that runs DRSportz. I've seen him so many times. I didn't even pay attention to him that much, but I was surprised that he hasn't gained more recruiting attention. It is what it is. DRSportz, by the way, is based out of Jacksonville. I'll let you guys kind of talk about him. Have at it.
I think it wasn't the main DRSportz coach. It was an assistant coach because the main one was at the Pro Bowl this week.
Yeah. Mr. Birch was not there.
He said Karan has 1 offer to UAB.
Yeah, that's
good. And that was weird to me. He's a Power 5 level kid.
At 6'5"? This guy was come on.
And he has the jumping reach to go over defenders even without the height. So
I got vertical. That's my thing. Vertical hands and the size, obviously.
Hayward plays for Birch, which is a very well respected 7-on-7 organization here in Florida. A shout out to my post-grad alma mater, Ball State. Birch went to Ball State. That's where he played football. He's in their Hall of Fame. He knows coaches all around the country. So for this kid to have 1 offer right now, is really odd because Birch knows frickin' everybody. And that's just how the recruiting works now. It's 7-on-7 coaches call and said, hey, this is what you need to know about this kid. And then coaches offer. That's literally how it works.
I don't know if it's academics. I don't know if it's
I don't know. He seems like a nice kid. I don't know. Maybe, but it's not football acumen. That I can attest. That's again, I didn't really pay much attention to him because I know him.
Yeah.
And I've seen him play.
Him and the next player actually play at the same high school too.
Yeah, they play at Mandarin.
Yeah, these two kids right here are definitions of dogs.
Yeah, Birch knows what he's doing. Mandarin is a great football program in Jacksonville. They always have players. It's a Florida State stop every year for 50 years, blah, 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 in the spring. They always have kids. They got their quarterback as a young kid. I saw him smoke Jacksonville Ed White last year as a true freshman. He's their quarterback. You know, it's just one of those deals where they're going to put up a lot of yards because they have better athletes than you. This kid, Jeremiah Shack, when he walks out onto the field,
he's one of those guys. If you're playing against him, you're like, who is that kid?
If you're a parent in this is no lie. If you're a parent in the stands, you hear that comment, I want to see his birth certificate. Literally.
No,
like fact. He does not look like he's in high school.
Yeah.
He does not. I mean, he's got a year left.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a grown-ass man.
No, he's ready to go to the NFL Combine.
Yeah. Jeremiah, I haven't talked to him about his offers yet. I'm going up to Jacksonville in a few days to like do a thing with him and Hurley and some other guy. I'm hoping I can get everybody together. Maybe I won't, but I told Jeremiah I wanted him to go and his quarterback, blah, blah, blah. When he walks in the room, you're like, okay, this kid's a little different. Yeah. He doesn't have any body fat and he's 205 pounds. Yeah. Those are things I was never attributed with personally, I can assure you, but watching him run around and like one hand the ball in the end zone when they know they're going to throw a fade ball to him, it's just so predictable. I know him well. I didn't even pay attention because I knew he was going to be on this list. So I watched other teams. I know Birch well.
Athlete.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know. I obviously don't follow the 7-on-7 the area as much as you do. And I picked him immediately as I want to follow this guy around.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason. I've done it before, but it's the same show. It's called a rerun. He's going to run down the field. He's going to run by you. And then in the end zone, he's going to jump higher than you and out-position you. Too bad.
Or even if you make an amazing play on the ball, he's just going to rip the ball out of your hands.
Yeah, he's one of those kids that he doesn't really play conventional, but, man, he's a playmaker, you know.
He is the prototypical 2022 boundary receiver.
Yeah.
If he learns, again, everything is technique at the college level because everybody's good. If this kid, Jeremiah Shack, learns all the little points of hand placement coming off the line, setting up his moves, once he's shoulder to shoulder with somebody at corner, they're done. There is not a corner as strong as him in the world. He's that kind of strength. Yeah. And that includes Jalen. Like he's that kind of strong.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he has, it's just about technique, but he can go wherever he wants if he has a good spring into summer because you can't teach them.
That kid's like an Alabama. He can go type like that, Georgia and those types.
I think. Speaking of Georgia, this next kid is also somebody I know well. I know Dwayne Carter that runs C3 Elite. He's a good buddy of mine. Raymond Cottrell was a kid that Notre Dame wanted, Florida State wanted, blah, blah, blah. Committed to Florida, and they completely screwed up his recruitment. Stop calling him. And all. It's why that staff got fired. They're idiots, complete idiots. Raymond ends up committing to Georgia, their rival. And now I guarantee you, until he turns pro, he will kill Florida. Mark it down flat out, and I don't blame him.
He was one of the better guys at the camp. Very physical, good route runner.
Again, I didn't even pay attention to C3 because I know all their kids.
Yeah,
I did a little thing with a bunch of their players in December. Raymond didn't need to come out. There was no reason. He already committed to Georgia. Who cares? The point is this. When you're 6'3", 205, 210, like he's starving himself to be at 205 and he has no body fat.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be a 225-pound boundary receiver who could also play the wide side of the field because he's got burst. So what do you guys think about him overall and his raw upside?
I mean, you could just immediately see why he's like Georgia's receiver commit for 2023. Just from
It-
his size alone, speed, like there's nothing you
Physicality.
really don't like about him. He faced, I think it was BullyMax Elite was his first game, and they had DeAndre going against him, and then I don't know the kid's name, but he was wearing orange gloves. But they were putting their best corner on them. They were putting safety help over top.
Yep.
They were trying to do anything to like not let him beat them.
Yeah.
Right.
And that kid with the orange gloves wasn't a slack. He was doing his thing out there as well. So that was a good competition battle.
Everybody knows who the kids that are committed to LSU or Southern Cal or, Florida State. They know those kind of kids. And since Georgia just won the title and that's where Ray's committed, I mean, he's a marked man. So I already know he still made plays, but
his route running was crazy, man.
Yeah.
I got a couple of videos of him.
This is the quarterback I mentioned a few minutes ago, Trammell Jones. He's only a freshman in high school right now. He's going into his sophomore year. He plays at Mandarin. He's a dude. He just needs to get bigger. All I'll say about him is the sky is the limit. He just has to learn his craft and all that stuff, get bigger, stronger, faster, really accurate. What do you guys think about Mr. Jones?
Really quick, he really impressed me because I didn't know he would be able to throw the ball, but his arm strength, and his accuracy kind of impressed me. So that was good. He had good footwork as well. So that I like. Of course, it will take some years for him to improve his pocket presence, and his vision. But his arm strength impressed me, and that was it.
Yeah, his footwork for being a freshman is absolutely off the board. I really want to know what they put in the water like 15 years ago in Jacksonville to make both of these quarterbacks.
They're best friends, by the way.
I just don't understand what happened there.
Well, actually, one snippet. Colin was born in Dade County. They moved north to get him into better schools. So Dade County is not renowned for its academics. So
like you said, Florida needs some quarterbacks. So
they absolutely do. BullyMax, this kid I don't know anything about. This was Gabriel's. What do you guys got?
Yeah, this was one of those younger guys, but he emerged as a leader, and I think it was BullyMax was down, a possession, and he led his team all the way down the field. I think he made a long throw, probably like 40 yards down the field to drive them all the way down. I think they got the win.
They got to the 2-yard line.
The 2-yard line. So
that was against C3 Elite.
Yeah, he was just one of those younger guys, 2024, that impressed me with his arm and his leadership. I spoke with his mom. They said they haven't had any offers yet, but they would love to get something in Florida. He wants to play in Florida, so a UCF or anything like that. So he impressed me. Tristan had a good showing.
Well, he's got some size to him. If he's got 2 years of high school left, maybe he grows into the hybrid linebacker or something. Who knows?
Sat behind somebody where he won a state championship. I want to get to school, but
Buford.
He sat behind a state championship guy. So
if you're at Buford, chances you playing as a sophomore are really low. So
like you said, those guys produce guys. So
yeah, I mean, he would have to transfer out
every year
because Buford's quarterback's a junior right now.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Good leader though. What'd you like about him, Steven?
Same thing, leadership. Almost coming back in C3 Elite was they were down. I don't think they scored until
I think
they were already down 18-0.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then they only lost by 2.
Fair enough. We already talked about Troy. I'm going to quickly glance over Kam here. This is my guy. I just put an article about him up on Inside the Knights to put it in perspective.
Man.
He's going to be a junior in the fall. He's my number one player in the country.
Yeah.
For 24. And it's because of on and off the field. He is what a college wants because he's very, very yes, sir, no, sir, and very little about drama or promoting himself. He will toss the ball to the ref, hand it to another guy, pick up a guy, but then dunk on your head, basically.
Right. Very disciplined kid. Tree trunks for legs. I think he had over 3,000 rushing yards this sophomore, over 30 touchdowns.
All purpose.
Yeah. He plays quarterback at Doherty High School because they don't have one, and he's going to play tailback in the NFL. Yes, I'm projecting. He's flat out an NFL player.
He can run his route running.
Yeah, he reminds me of
like
Cam Akers.
Yep.
Cam Akers. There you go.
That's a really good comparison.
Really good
same high school quarterback goes to Florida State as a running back.
Yeah,
NFL potential.
And he has some good vision on secondary as well. So he I think he made like 2 interceptions. That was good for him as well.
Yep, I got both of those on video. The first one was kind of Johnny on the spot, but he had to like an inch off the ground. I mean, he just has hand skills you can't teach. And to that, he will eventually have a decision. He is also a big-time baseball player and plays travel ball for a team out of Ohio that recruited him.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
he's not
He's
just your
awesome
average
kid.
guy. I
He's
watched
a
him
good
swing
kid.
the bat one time and turned off the video.
Yeah.
That's all I needed.
Yeah, he's a good kid on and off the field. So college coaches, foaming over him.
Yeah, like Alabama and Georgia are trying to get him. He's committed to Florida State. UCF just offered him. A lot of schools haven't offered because they just don't think they have a shot, and they don't. But, if he was like open kid and going out and visit, he'd have 50 offers.
Yeah.
Don't pay attention to the offer. He has more than he posts to. Like, he doesn't post them on his – he is a very shy kid.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how good is he going to be.
He can play anywhere in the country.
Oh, yeah. He will play as a freshman even if he goes to Alabama.
And super respectful kid.
Yeah, good kid.
By the way, I'm just going to put this part up here.
Yeah.
Hold on here. Let me do this better. He is not your normal kid in regards to build. If you look at the one here in this corner, that's not a normal kid. Let me share. Let's do this real quick. He has the ability to, shall we say, be impressive in terms of and he's working. He was 180, 182 last year, something like that. And then he came to the tournament, and I asked him, where are you at? Because he was like 202 at the end of the season. He's running track, doing those kinds of things, trying to get, ready for this next season. This is a picture of Kam from the weekend. Yeah, I do not look like that. That is ridiculous. He has 2 years of high school.
2 years left. Man, wow.
Yeah, that's not fair. I got cheated. But he's a great kid.
The legs, too, the tree trunk legs.
Yeah. Man. Oh, his legs, that's an upper body shot. His legs are more impressive than his six-pack and his chest. I mean, come on. Man. I totally got cheated. Yeah. But let me pull this back.
He was probably the best kid at the tournament.
I don't even count him because he's so good. Right. Kam doesn't count. Who were the top five?
There you go.
Yeah. Because, he's just different. This is a kid right here that I like talking about. He has kind of come onto the scene. He plays on the west side of Orlando at Ocoee. He's a player that has all kinds of potential. The only question with him is corner, safety, receive. I don't know. I've watched him enough to know that he could probably be a corner at the next level, which is always a desired thing. But when you talk about the ability to run at 6'2", if you need corners and everybody does, that's going to catch some attention. Zachary Tobe, 24K. What do you guys think?
I talked to him kind of like in the middle of his game. He wants to play corner at the next level, if not safety.
Okay. Well, that's good.
His top two right now, Iowa State and UCF. And it's just he doesn't let the receiver catch the ball. Yeah. That's all you really need.
Yeah, let's see if we can get
him. I know him pretty well. I've communicated with him. I know his coach as well. The thing about him that's unique is he's just getting started.
Okay.
Ocoee's a good-sized school, but where it's located, they don't receive quite it's not like they get none. They don't get the same attention as a Popka.
No, they're surrounded by talent.
Yeah, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's good enough. He's getting Power 5 looks, and he's going to be a guy. This is the kind of kid that if UCF is going to ascend to where they want to be, they have to find a way to get him.
You got to find to get him in the secondary, man.
Because he's an SEC talent, but he's 45 minutes from your campus.
The dog. You need to get those.
There's no way around it.
That's what those hometown events are for.
Exactly. And he's at a position that is always of need, and that's corner. Yeah. You could play him at the nickel spot in special situations. He's big enough to blitz. If you wanted to play him on offense, you could. But, if he wants to play corner, by all means, that's where you want him. So I like him a lot, and I know that UCF does too, but that's not really a shock. This next kid, I'm so happy to say this. Like you guys mentioned earlier, thank the Lord. The state of Florida is finally producing some young quarterbacks. This kid is currently a freshman, and he's at Somerset Academy. I think that's what it's called, down in the Pembroke Pines, just outside of Fort Lauderdale. Yeah. It's an interesting deal. I'm going to be doing some kind of podcast with them here today or tomorrow, something like that. I can't remember. I got all this stuff written down over here.
Yeah.
They're kind of an up and coming charter school. And this kid could spin it. I thought he'd be, he's a junior or something.
Yeah.
Asked the coach, he goes, no, he's a freshman. I'm like,
Man.
oh.
There was a couple of those young guys like, wait, freshmen.
Yeah, I know. We just don't get those in Florida.
Yeah,
we just don't.
He's one of those. Yeah, he's one of those younger quarterbacks that impress.
The 20, what is that? 25 class in Florida for quarterback.
Yeah.
Hey,
good.
if you got kids that can at least play like in the upper Memphis, AAC or whatever, and it just depends how big he gets. He's a Power 5 kid. He's not humongous by any means, but he's a freshman in high school. He'll probably be 6'2", 200 when he graduates. That's fine.
Long time to grow. But now, like it says, has good mechanics and can find a receiver. So,
oh, absolutely. Yeah. So what do you guys think about him in terms of technique and all the physical traits?
Just in terms of touch on his passes, I mean, obviously he doesn't have the best arm strength at the 7-on-7, but from a touch perspective, I would say he probably ranks top for me from here. Just he finds the receiver wherever they are on the field.
I had a couple of
those where he dropped it in to our favorite receiver there that made the that catch. That's the idea.
They'll be linked up in high school now too.
Yeah.
That will be a 1,300, 1,400 yard season coming up. Mark it down.
It looked like they've played together before. They had some chemistry.
Oh yeah, they absolutely do.
Yeah.
So anybody that doesn't want to recruit, put this clear on the screen. Camden Hartzell is missing the boat. Again, you need to get this kid to your camp. There's no reason that you wouldn't.
2025. Come on. He has time to grow.
That's what I mean. Like he's got time to develop, and he's already got some of the mind that you want. He makes that second level throw, meaning over the linebacker, between the safety, little stuff like that.
Doesn't wait
most kids.
Long. Throws before the receiver breaks.
There you go. Yeah, those things are, college coaches struggle with a lot of kids. And I'm not saying he does it on every down.
Nah.
But at the same time,
he showed flashes,
well enough. There you go. From a freshman, that's impressive.
Yep.
I would love to see him camp at UCF where he's going one-on-one with Colin Hurley.
Well, Colin's coming to UCF's camp, and I'm sure that the other kid from Mandarin will, and they'll have other kids. It's going to happen. I'd imagine Blake Bodo will come from CBU. Some of these kids that are on that cusp, and then you just see how they perform. I mean, that's why you go. Malachi will probably come down this summer. He's from North Cobb, just outside of Atlanta. That's like their guy for the next guy. This summer's quarterback deal will be good, and I know personally, because of Colin and a few of the other kids, there's going to be quite a few receivers there that a lot of Power 5 coaches will be very disappointed to see they went to UCF's camp. Remember, I said that. Wrapping this up real quick, we're going to be doing a lot of articles and podcasts like this. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Yep.
This is fun. We like talking about 7-on-7. Yep. And UCF's going to recruit probably
they have to
half of these kids.
Yeah.
Some they've already started, but this is just the beginning of recruiting for most of the kids. It just is because like Hartzell's, he's got 3 years of high school left.
Yeah.
Colin Hurley has 3 years of high school left.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's
about building those relationships though, and there'll be more 7-on-7 events throughout the spring. So this will be a big recruiting time for UCF.
And that's why we talked about earlier when you have a guy like I just use him as an example. Travis Williams, the DC for the Knights. If you don't like him after meeting him,
we can talk about him.
I can't help you. I can't help you.
Will segment.
Boom. Yeah, he's an infectious personality to be around, and Gus can be that way too, and several of the staff members can be that way. Most importantly, when you build those relationships, they're also going to be building them with mom, with a high school coach, the 7-on-7 coach. I know a lot of people don't want to hear it. That's arguably the most important thing you do now, whether you like it or not, is 7-on-7 coaches, and they're bringing the entire teams in.
Yeah,
T-Will
has that charisma that can pull a guy away from a big name school just because the relationship he has with a kid. That chemistry he built this season with the defense, and people can see that. It was amazing. I like T-Will. I like what he got going on the defensive side.
Absolutely. The other thing that's really interesting about that is now that UCF has kind of had their staff around for a year, some of these kids know these guys already, and the recruitment's already gotten go. The difference between year one and year two in a recruiting for any school, not just UCF, is tremendous because the relationships have already been built and there's some comfort there. So
and he already has those ties in Miami and South Florida. So if he can build that in Central Florida, man, that'll be big for T. Will.
Yeah, I mean, the staff hasn't even been at UCF for a year yet.
Yeah, good point.
And they already have the relationships established.
They got that momentum going in recruiting.
That's great for them. So
yeah.
Well, everyone, I thank you very much for coming and checking out our little podcast here. We're going to have more stuff like this. I'm going to have some interviews with some other kids at UCF's going after.
You got a lot.
Yeah, I've got more information. Like I have 3 stories that I haven't even put up yet from the weekend, and I have tons of others that I could. There were probably 50 Power 5 kids at the tournament. I can't write about them all. I had one parent send me a complaint about, oh, this kid did. Look, I can only see if I'm lucky 10% of the action.
There you go.
It is what it is, man. There's too many teams. It's true. Yeah. But thank you all. And thank you guys for coming on the show to talk some football. Everybody have a great day. Thank you much.
Thanks.